All right, last one for the day, and then I'm going to go do other things. Runaway horses. This is something that it's irked me since the very first time I ever heard it. A very, very well-known horseman said, I've never been run off with. I can ride a horse just as fast as he can run. And I understand what that person was trying to convey to his audience when he said that. But it's bugged me because it's bugged me for years. I'm sure that guy had actually been run off with. But as soon as I heard that, I thought, man, you dang sure never have been run off with, because if you've been run off with, you know you've been run off with. To me, a runaway is the absolute scariest thing that can possibly happen. You can buck, you can rear, you can fall down. A horse that's a true runaway, and most people haven't been on a true runaway, but a true runaway is terrifying. You know, a true runaway is panicked. They're mad. They're closed off to everything. Some of the ones I've been on actually shut their eyes and run off. It is absolutely terrifying. So what do you do in that extremely terrifying situation? First thing you do is don't get in it. But if you do get in it, here's a couple of tips. Pulling on one doesn't work. Trying to pull one to a stop or to a slow down, that doesn't work at all. That just gives them something to brace on. It gives them, a lot of times makes them run harder, makes them run farther, makes them run longer. This idea. Yeah, I've never seen it, but I've heard stories about it on the track that people had a runaway horse on the racetrack and were pulling so hard to try to stop that horse that they just literally exhausted themselves to the point where they then fell off the horse because they just didn't have enough energy to ride anymore. So if you pull on one and they slow down at all, you weren't on a runaway. If you pull on one and they pull back or just brace against it like you're pulling on a stump, okay, well, you're on the runaway. Don't try to pull them to a stop. This idea that you can pull their head around and stop them, first of all, that's not true. On a true runaway, I don't care how stout you are and how much bit you've got. On a true runaway, that doesn't work. And second of all, if you're going fast and you pull their head around, you do this. So that's not great either. What I do when I'm on a runaway, and I'll tell you another thing about runaways. I've been on a pile of runaways at a trot or a lope. So I did nothing. And I don't know for sure it was a runaway because I never picked my hands up, but it felt like it. And I did nothing. And that prevented it from becoming something else. If I had tried to pull their head around or had tried to pull them, it would have scared them, panicked them, whatever. And then I'd have been on a fast, eyes shut and runaway. So that's something to kind of keep your eye out for too. But when one runs off with me, the first thing I do is I look to see if their eyes are open. As long as their eyes are open, I'm less scared than I normally would be. If their eyes are shut, I do any possible thing I can to get them to open their eyes, which up to and including taking anything, my reins, my hat, anything I can get a hold of, and hitting them upside the head with it to get them to open their eyes. Pulling on their mane, jabbing them in the neck with my thumb, anything to snap them out of that just terror that they're in that caused them to run with their eyes closed. Once I've got the eyes closed, all I do, once I've got the eyes open, all I do is gather at my reins and get contact with that mouth. And I don't try to pull them, I don't try to stop them, I just try to get contact, because what's most terrifying about a runaway is them tripping and falling down. And so I want contact so that if their feet do go up from under them and they do trip, best case scenario, I can pull hard enough to keep them up or to get them back on their feet. And worst case scenario is I can pull hard enough to slow our fall down so I can hit the eject button and get out of the way. But like I say, I don't pull on them. I just put contact there and just give them something to brace against. If they've got that snaffle bit to brace against, then they're going to stay up. it's going to work the same way as a tie down works in the roping. They've got something to push against, so they can maintain their balance. So that's all I'm trying to do, is be a fifth leg for them in a sense, and use my body and kind of brace my body so they can brace on me a little bit and stay up. Those are kind of the two major things I look for. That, and look about 10 strides out in front of you. For fences, wire, badger holes, washouts, whatever's going on, you know, you always want to look 2 strides in front of you. When you're on a runaway, look 10 strides in front of you. Because if you're going to hit a fence or you're going to do something, my advice for almost everything is never jump ship. That's how you get hurt. But and I've never had to jump ship on a runaway, but I'm darn sure looking for something out there in front of me that's going to kill us. In case I will jump ship if it comes down to that. So there's my best advice on a runaway. First of all, do your homework, don't get in them. Second of all, make sure their eyes are open. If they're not, do anything in your power to get them to open their eyes. They're already panicked and mad, so whipping them on the head is not going to make them more panicked and mad. Hopefully it'll just get them to open their eyes. And then third of all, don't try to stop them. Just use your body to try to hold them up. And fourth of all, look out ahead of you. If you're going to hit something that's going to kill you both, jump ship, let it kill them. Anyway, there's runaways.